it's already broken. Here's what happened.
You got it? Yeah, that bearing is shot. Uh-oh. You know, shake it.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
I think you got a bearing that's bad.
Here, go ahead and shake it again.
Ready?
Yeah, there's play in that right there. That was only the third flight on the second day. Today, we're gonna fix it. We have to take the tail apart. Aviation is a license to learn. Today's episode sponsored by Hillsdale College. Let me show you what we're dealing with. As you saw, this was vibrating quite a bit, and on the check, you're supposed to pull it. Hear the ka-thunk, ka-thunk? That's not good. It's supposed to go thunk, thunk, like this down here. Hear how it's a small thunk and not a hard thunk? Yep, so we have to take this whole thing apart, take that off, then we have to take this whole rear transmission off, slide it back so that we can get some very specialized grease and put in this sleeve bushing here so that it absorbs the vibration. That's not too bad. Now let me show you the grease. And being a helicopter, it's even more specialized than regular airplanes. So you have to get drive shaft coupling lubricant. Especially, well, this one's a Bell helicopter, but it fits the specification for this thing. And I love this helicopter. It has been awesome. This is just normal helicopter ownership kind of stuff. Thankfully, it's just a little grease that we got to put in there, so it's not the end of the world. And the guy that I was talking to that's an expert on these helicopters, he was actually telling me that if this whole area right here doesn't have a bunch of grease on it, then there's none in it. So apparently it's a really common thing for this shaft to be slinging that grease out, and you have to service it, not frequently, but all the time. Morning, Grizzly.
Good morning, Jimmy.
All right, I'm gonna give you a pop quiz.
Okay.
First 3 rules about working in a shop, what are they?
Safety first?
No, what? No, safety first.
I'm confused as to the question. Are you wanting a real answer?
No, the real life, like when you're gonna work on something, what's the first 3 things you do?
Get coffee, caffeine.
Yep, something to drink.
Yep.
Boom. What's the second thing?
Radio.
Yep. Kabam. So we'll turn that bad boy on. And then what's the third thing?
Third thing, nervous pee, or it's going to be, for me, it would be a cigarette.
Yep, there you go. See, he knows the routine. That's the first thing you teach your kid is when you're working in a shop. Step 1, something to drink. Step 2, music. Or in my case, I'm kind of a nerd. I'm always learning and stuff like that. So I'll listen to audiobooks and things like that. Or unless I just really want to zone out, and then I go to 90s techno. Don't ask, it's a long story. And then the third thing is, okay, now we can plan our work. So good, you passed the test. Well done.
Woohoo.
Nice, okay, let's get to work. We got Joe Priolo, he's a Sicilian guy.
Never go in against a Sicilian when death is on the line.
He is the guy. We called him up this morning just after I made that video, recorded just 2 seconds ago. And we said, hey man, we need some help on this. He was walking through it and he's like, you know what? I can run over there, and he lives about like 2 hours away. I can run over there and we can just knock this thing out together. And I'm like, done all day long. He also has a YouTube channel. What's on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, it's my last name. It's Joseph Priolo. It's aviation content, so you'll see a lot of stuff with flight training, with rotorway helicopters and various things, stuff that I flew in the military, UH-60 Blackhawk stuff, LUH-72 Lakota. So a lot of aviation content on there, and I'd appreciate you guys checking it out.
That's right. And you're still in the military?
Yeah, until March.
Like
a little bit of time. Yeah, almost 20 years. So I'll retire as a major, and yeah, March of next year I'll retire.
Nice.
So,
Fantastic. Appreciate your service. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. You too. Yeah, I heard you were in the Air Force.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. Still am.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Sweet,
Different story for a different time.
Awesome.
Well, without further ado, let's get rolling on this thing so we can get her done.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Awesome.
So we need to pull this thing out to get enough room because that entire tail shaft from here has to come all the way out of that back there. Nice, and the rain let up.
I think that's going to be enough. Yeah. I don't want to deal with that.
The rain let up just enough for us to squeeze it outside and to get some room.
I told you you're going to be like, that's it? I said it was going to be easy.
So in here
Let me
is
get my
the
broomstick.
grease, and there's just not enough grease in there. Oh yeah, it needs a lot more grease.
Yep, we'll pack it up.
Wow. And apparently on the old ones, it had a grease fitting where you could just squirt it in here and go and get it done, but whatever version this one is, not so much. Huh. And that was our problem. Well, there's your problem. Ain't got no grease. And this is that little floating vibration dampener thing
Yep.
that is inside this hole right here, that with your fancy broomstick with duct tape.
It's
and a
actually
hook-
PVC, but yeah, it's conduit, yeah.
Oh, conduit, there you go.
So we'll stick this, grab that damper and pull it out ever so gently. We're also going to have to take this adapter off here. So this is going to have to come off with the horizontal stabilizer.
Okay.
That'll come off next.
All right, I'll start working on that.
So we're gonna have to, we'll pull this off, and then what's holding that on?
There's the
Couple
bolts here.
bolts?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you got these bolts that have to come out.
Couple around, okay. And now, is there
You'll have to take the horizontal off first.
a plate with a few screws right here that are holding that vibration dampener on in here?
Yeah, so these screws screw into, the threads are in the damper itself. So when
Gotcha.
we take these screws off, the damper is going to be free to kind of move. There's only 3 screws that hold it in place. So as soon as those screws come out, this thing is like free to kind of slide out. The reason we have to take this coupling off is because the damper is bigger than the hole. So if you come back here and look,
Yeah, that makes sense.
it's not going to fit through this hole. The reason this even exists is because the older model Hughes 269s had a totally different gearbox back here. It was a high-speed terarotor system. The older Hughes 269s and the Schweitzers went to a low-speed terarotor system, so they call it the LTS. That's why coupling even exists here, because it's a different gearbox with the later model aircraft. So we'll cut the safety wire off, and we'll take these bolts off and pop her off.
Interesting.
That's part of your problem. It's a little loose.
Well, there's your problem right there.
Your hole is kind of loose. Yeah.
Been too long since it's been inspected, huh?
Think so. I could just tell. Usually, I like to look at these at the annual, pull that apart, because as a 24-month repack, right? So you take the belt drive system apart, you take the tail rotor drive apart. We're repacking all the grease and the bearings. Same thing with the whole hub and mast. All that comes out, and you repack it every 24 months. I like to do it annually, but I mean, yeah, you can alternate. One year you do the tail rotor system and the belt drive system. The next year you do the mast and the head and all that good stuff up there. So, but we'll tighten these up a little bit. Make sure we got the right tension. Then it just goes right back in. We can clean this up. You got some rags?
Yes, sir. To check this, to make sure this spring tension is correct, you got your bass weight measure thing,
And then
and you got to pull on it.
5
and it needs to
foot-pounds,
be-
and it's almost right, just like 5.5.
Yeah, right
So
at 5
that's
foot-pounds.
when
on
it
that
started
thing.
moving. So
There you go.
right out of the book. Read
Right.
the manual.
Read the manual. Always read the manual. Time to lube up the shaft. That's gross.
This is some sticky stuff.
That's awesome.
And you got 2 tubes of it, right?
Negative.
You only got the one?
Yeah,
Okay.
well said.
We'll make it work. We'll make it work.
we're gonna go IRS mode, where you don't need any lubrication whatsoever. Oh, this is terrible. All right, so a question on your 2-hour drive over.
Yes.
What did you listen to the radio, podcast? What do you do?
I like to listen to the news. So I like Yeah, Fox, CNN. I like to try to be balanced and fair.
CNN. So
I
you wanna
know.
get
I want to see
propaganda
the
from both
craziness.
sides.
I can already tell you which side I lean towards politically just by the news networks. But I listen to both. I try to get. I'd say I'm in the middle, right? Middle conservative guy. But you know, you have to get all the information to see what's true out there in the world. So I like to listen to the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Listen to all the propaganda and figure out what's actually the
And
truth.
make my own opinion of what's true or not true. So
That's right.
yeah, that's what you got to do as an educated adult. So
we got, that is all nice and greasied up there.
yep. Now might as well, since my fingers are all
Go
greased
ahead
up,
and do this.
we're gonna start packing this one up.
All right.
So really got to get those splines greased up, but now it's packing inside the cone. That wasn't packed up like it needed to be in there.
Yeah.
So which allowed it to go back and forth and cause that clunking noise is what you guys. So basically I'm gonna shove this in here and start getting some grease packed in
Yep.
there in that cone.
Here we go. Ready?
Squirting.
Shot. Oh wow, look at that.
Yep.
That's exciting footage right there. This is YouTube gold, man.
Yeah.
YouTube gold. While he's down there doing the work, I need to tell you about Hillsdale College because we could listen to the news, even YouTube videos. Just saying, Jimmy's World, subscribe, like, you know the thing. I personally love to learn, so I'm always listening to lectures and podcasts and things, and I discovered hillsdale.edu/Jimmy. I've been listening to the rise and the fall of the Roman Empire, and it's pretty fantastic. It's amazing how much the U.S. and Rome have in common. It's like, it's a lot of the same stuff, but things you'd never knew about. And I didn't know that Rome started as a republic, and then the Rubicon is what Julius Caesar crossed. It was a river over there. And he crossed the Rubicon, and then after that is when he took over some other empire or something happened over there, that it then became the whole Caesars and all that stuff, the empire side. I did not know that.
Me either.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know the Rubicon was a river that he crossed. I thought it was like a trail in Colorado. But makes sense.
It was a Jeep.
A Jeep.
It's a Jeep. It is a Jeep.
That's right, yeah. But no, they have a ton of courses. So go to hillsdale.edu and use the code Jimmy/Jimmy. It's on the screen right now. And then after I got done with the Roman one, I was looking at the Constitution 101. Also pretty fascinating stuff, how we were using the Federalist Papers and how the Declaration of Independence has a different, like, grandiose thing to it, whereas the Constitution is more of how to do government stuff. How you coming over there? Yeah, yes. Oh yeah, look, man, that thing was dry as could be.
Oh yeah, this needed a lot more grease on there. But if you look in here, if you can come around the other side, Jimmy, you can see how I packed that up with that grease to prevent that motion back and forth. So it's filled up pretty good now.
Yeah, let's see if I can focus. There we go. Oh yeah.
So
That is good stuff there.
unfortunately, I don't know why they took the high pressure grease fittings off the newer shafts than the older shafts. Makes sense to me that you can load that up and pack it up with some grease at any time. But hey, Schweitzer.
Yeah, exactly. Aviation
Hey, if
world.
Schweitzer watches this, hey, can we get some changes?
Go back to the old ways.
Yeah, put that high pressure fitting.
Get some grease fittings back.
That's it.
Yeah.
Make grease fittings great again.
That's right, that's right. They did say there was some modification they used to change these rivets, and they used the rivets for the grease fittings. Or they took the grease fittings out and then put rivets in place of it.
That's looks like what they did, because you would have a grease fitting here and then one 180 degrees from it. So one was to allow you to put grease, and the other one was the grease that would come out. So it was kind of like the output for it. But anyway, so on the older Hughes 269s, I mean, that's what you did. You just greased it up in there, and then you kept packing your grease, go back and forth with the shaft to make sure it's not clunking, and grease, and you check it every 25 hours, make sure it was packed in good.
Yeah,
We are good to go.
Are we
We're ready to put that back together.
packed? Okay. All right. Let me go set this stuff down. We're going to refer back to the manual because, like we said, aviation is a license to learn. And we have the manual. The first thing you do is you read a bunch. Unlike aviation, Hillsdale has a bunch of free courses. Go right now to hillsdale.edu/Jimmy to enroll. There's no cost, and it's easy to get started. That's hillsdale.edu/Jimmy to register. hillsdale.edu/Jimmy. And I'm so thankful Joe joined us today because, well, we got to bring in experts whenever we want to get stuff done right the first time. And on a helicopter, yeah, I'm not willing to take that chance like some of the airplane stuff that we've done. So go to hillsdale.edu/Jimmy and go sign up and continue to be learning like the rest of us and as we continue to learn. Grizzly, don't cross-thread it. Just
Cross-thread it? Yeah.
No, cross-thread.
Keep going until it sounds expensive.
Yeah, it's not mine. Go, man, get the impact.
Full impact, full send.
Nice. You know, Grizzly, you're pretty good at operating that shaft. It's like you've done this before.
Got practice.
That's it. And then we looked up the spec. What was it again?
70.
It was 60 to 80 inch-pounds.
So let's do public math. That's about, what, 6 to 7 foot-pounds?
Boy, today's episode is filled with all kinds of, like, technical stuff. Using actual tools and things.
Let's see if I can go the other way.
Even got a torque wrench in here. I don't know. We're going to have to change the name of the YouTube channel.
Right.
Get a different t-shirt. This is probably the most difficult part, the most frustrating part, because we got to get that thing, get it all the way back down here to get these little screws lined up. So I'm going to just set the camera on the tripod because it's going to take both of us and all of our frustration to do it. 45 very frustrating minutes later.
Yeah.
All right. How's it?
Ooh. Got to get my broomstick out.
Oh yeah, your pipe is still stuck in there. Oh yeah, look at that. Huh. Don't forget your pipe. You'll get halfway.
If you ever
home,
watch
like,
Star Trek, Scotty the engineer, always overestimate. You tell him double the time what you think it is, then you look like a miracle worker. I'm giving secrets out here now.
That's right. Shh. We'll edit that part out.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely having multiple people makes this job a lot easier. So if we did our math right, this should not clunk anymore. Nope. Oh, nope. Nice.
Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Joe. Bam, you the man. So we'll get all this torqued and safetied, and then the weather seems to be holding off a little bit. Maybe we can pull it on out and
you can jump in there with
out.
me and we'll do some hovering, yeah.
There you go.
Make sure she works, yeah.
Heck yeah.
Keeping an eye on that little aft cyclic as she starts getting light. She's probably not going to start lifting up until we get towards 25 inches. Right there, she's getting light. 2-stage pickup. As she gets light, we continue pulling up. Nice and smooth up into our hover. A 1 to 3 foot hover is what we're looking for. We can trim it out and make it nice and neutral there for us so we don't have to fight that cyclic. And then we're good, right? So everything looks good. We're going to go ahead and forward into the grass. You want to hover into that grass over there in the flat spot? Where do you want to go?
Yeah, we go over just on the other side of the hump there.
Okay, here we go. And she is smooth as glass. Look at that American flag over there off our nose. Pretty calm right now, right?
Yeah, it is.
All right, hold position here. All right, you ready for that third control? Here's the collective. You have collective. You have all controls.
I've got all the controls.
All right, very good. So here's a history fact. The average Army aviator back in the 60s and 70s was hovering this aircraft with as little as 10 hours of flight time, dual instruction, and they were getting cut loose to go solo this helicopter. It was a primary trainer for the Army from the 1960s until the mid-80s. He used it as the primary trainer until they switched over to the TH-67, which was a Bell 206 variant.
We continued to train for the rest of that day and for 2 more days following this, and then I finally got to fly it by myself.